and let this train keep on riding, riding on through. Well, people all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, get on a bike and the gas train.
Of your brothers over in Africa. So long the folks in Egypt, Israel too. Well.
Please don't miss this train at the station. 'Cause if you miss it, I feel sorry, sorry for you. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, get on the bike and the hair train. Let it run, you better let it run, let it run. Get on board, y'all. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, get on the bus and the gas train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, get on the bus and the gas train. Don't you wanna ride?
Come on, let me hear you sing.
Don't you wanna ride?
Don't you wanna ride?
Don't you wanna ride?
Come on, let me hear you sing.
Don't you wanna ride this love train?
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Kitchen Talk. Today is October the 29th, and we have 4 days, 14 hours, 54 minutes, and 13 seconds, you guys, to this November 3rd election. Man, I tell you, when they said this is the election of our life, we have to vote, everybody. I have on the show today, she's no stranger to Kitchen Talk. I have Myanna Dellinger. She is running for judge for the Los Angeles Superior Court, Los Angeles County in California, of course, everyone. She is on the ballot in the. She was on the ballot in the general election on. I'm sorry. She was in the primary. She passed through the primary, and she's going to be on the November 3rd ballot. So when you see her name, Myanna Dellinger, for seat 72, we want you to check that box. We have Myanna on the show today, and we're going to bring her up so she can talk to you about what she is, planning to do as the judge and what she needs from you. She needs your votes, but we have her on the show. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you so much to you and your viewers, and thanks again for having me on.
Oh,
Yes,
no problem. You are no stranger. I think this is probably your third time.
Thank you so much.
And I have grown to know you as you come on the show.
Mhm.
And I've been following you on Facebook, all these other sites. And, you are an underdog. There's been some nasty attacks toward you. I mean,
Yeah.
I had the mayor of Pasadena on last week. It was a great show. And I couldn't even have a show for all the attacks that he was getting.
Yeah.
So we want the people to know that, if you got to go out and do nasty attacks, then it might be something wrong with their campaign.
Yeah, no kidding. Yes.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So
Yeah.
tell the viewers a little bit about you, and just want to remind everyone that this is an interactive show. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. So we would love your positive comments for Myanna. And if you have any questions, the judge seats are generally on the ballot. A lot of people do not know anything about judge seats. Some people just check anybody or they skip over it. And now, since our president, we have Superior Court, for example. I mean, they're already attacking the voting. And this is a judge, Superior Court. So we need to look at judges across the country, across the board. This is going to be serious. It's funny that this one category on our ballots that most people never took seriously. And now these judge seats are probably going to be the most important selections in our history of voting. So tell the viewers of Kitchen Talk a little bit about you. And we're going to talk, get some questions, and then we're going to play a few videos of you.
Hey, that sounds good. And just initially, yes, positive comments or questions, whatever voters want to know. I'm here to answer those questions. But I really truly don't appreciate all the hate attacks and the counterattacks and the negative campaigning and all that. Like Leanne said, I think that really says something about that candidate that would do things like that. And the hate they have to give, and if they don't have anything else to give, do you want them to be a judge then or not? So I have not resorted to any of that, and I just wanted to put that out there. So a little bit about me. I'm the most highly qualified candidate for this seat. I'm a law professor. I really am. There's a couple of people that pretend they are, and that's good imitation, I guess. But I really am full-time tenured at an ABA-accredited law school. I worked before that. I graduated at the top of my law school class, which is hard to do, number one out of almost 200 people. I then clerked, meaning did research and wrote opinions and drafted opinions for judges in criminal and civil cases, for state level and appellate level judges in both the federal and the state system. And I worked for a tribunal with climate change under the United Nations. So I've really seen things up and down the system. I've written a bunch of articles that have been cited to, which is another badge of honor by more than 100 judges and attorneys. And in fact, for 4 years, I've been at the top 10% by download of authors on social science research network. So really a lot of people are relying on my writings and my skills. And so I think apart from the hardcore qualifications, one thing I would sort of toot my own horn about a little bit or pride myself on is that I am a calm and kind and positive kind of person. And sure, I can be hard on criminals if I need to be, but I don't believe in all this hate messaging and aggression and xenophobia and exclusion and a whole lot of other things that I've seen against me and others, but even against me, even the way I look and am. About, I should go back to where I came from and, things like that. I just don't think that's what voters want or need. And I certainly don't think that's what we need here in LA County. So my message is a lot more like, we need to calm down and start understanding each other more and getting back to that and starting helping each other, lift each other up instead of just trying to tear each other down in many ways. So that's just sort of me in a nutshell.
Back on here. Let's see. All right. There we are. Okay. So, well, tell us a little bit about, what is the role of the LA Superior Court judge? I know the seat number is just the seat number.
Yeah.
But what is the role of a Superior Court judge?
Yeah. So a Superior Court judge, so Superior Court, even though it sounds like, wow, that's pretty high, actually is the lowest level. That's the name. It's the trial court level. So there's many types of judges. Everyone seems to think that if you're a judge, you preside over criminal law cases, but there's also a lot of other cases, family law, traffic, small claims, civil, drug dependency, juvenile delinquency cases, a lot of different types of cases than your typical criminal law cases. So a lot of paperwork, but they are at the trial level, so jury trials as well. And so basically trials is what they are. Okay. They're the biggest, we have the biggest, as to the best of my knowledge, the biggest state court system in LA County because we're a huge county.
Yeah, so you handle criminal cases, contracts.
Yeah, So, well, yes, everything that comes before Superior Court judges, not
Yeah.
the same judge. So then when people get elected, or the governor also appoints some, those new judges will then go to judge school. No one has been a judge before, right? So they all have training. And then you'll work with a presiding judge who will ask for your preferences. Do you prefer, what type of civil, criminal, juvenile, family, whatever you prefer, and also look at your geographic location where you'd like to be geographic, because it's a huge county.
Right.
So you don't get to say, I want to be an X kind of judge, and that's the only thing I'll do. There's a lot of different factors that go.
Right.
Yeah.
You brought something up about a judge school, because I think your opponent was saying that you never been a judge. You got to go to the judge school. So does this guy. So
None of us, that's why we're running. Yeah, I have not been a judge. I
right.
have been volunteering as something called a temporary judge. And my opponent likes to attack me, and so I think that says a lot about him and his skills. I've listened to him now for a year and a half. I only recently found out that he works in the fraud division of the district attorney's office. I have not really heard anything else other than, he's talking about his family and things like that, which is lovely and great. But he likes to attack me, so no, I have not been a judge. Neither has he. None of us have been judges before, and that's why we're running to be elected. None of us are running as incumbents. It would be political suicide. It's considered to run against an incumbent judge. So whenever you do get elected or appointed by the governor, then you have to get reelected later on. But yeah, no one has been a judge before. Of course I haven't. That's obvious. Neither has he. What has he done? I mean, he likes to talk about what I have and what, various conservative, established old insider, circles think about me. I don't know what he stands for, not much, it seems. Whatever, he could talk about that, but he doesn't want to. So I have been out about what I stand for, which is a lot of criminal justice equity, racial equity, environmental justice, and a lot of other equality issues that have, in my opinion, not been solved and that need to be addressed. And I like to positive message what I stand for and what I would hope to contribute with, and not go on any kind of negative attacks.
Okay. Good. Okay. Well, everyone, if you're just joining in, you're on live with Leanne Moore, the host of Kitchen Talk, and our guest, Myanna Dellinger, which I don't want to call you a guest because, when you go to someone's house more than once, you consider family, right?
Hey, that's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So she's been on the show several times. And like I said earlier, in the beginning of the show, I've learned, I've watched her, and I really like you, and I really hope that you can get the votes that you need to become judge, LA County Superior Court. You all can visit her website. It's Myanna for Judge. That's FOR Judge.com. And I'm going to play a video of you. I believe this is something you put out based on your values. So we're going to look at that. Okay.
Awesome.
Hi, this is Myanna Dellinger. I'm running for seat number 72 on the LA Superior Court bench. Judges should have good values. Here are mine. I'm honest, I'm hardworking, I have a lot of integrity, I'm friendly and kind, yet I'm tough when I need to be. I really believe in the values of building each other up instead of tearing each other down. I'm also very focused on creating innovative new solutions to even stubborn old problems. And I'm respectful of everyone no matter what their background. So you should vote for me for seat number 72 on the LA Superior Court bench. Check me out at dellingerforjudge.com.
Okay. So that was you on the video talking about your values. And so, I mean, like I said before, what does it take to be a judge? I mean, your values, your honesty. We want someone there that's going to, especially for the, in light of what's going on right now, the criminal aspect of it, of making other alternatives perhaps for lesser crimes than just throwing the gavel down. And we need someone that can look at case by case and not just go what history has dictated. You just throw people in jail. Are you open to that?
Yes, very much so. And I have said that much to the chagrin of the prosecutors and the DA's office, and we'll get back to talk to them about some of their attacks and whatever after the election, which have been totally unheard of. But anyway, yes, I have been saying that, and I have also been saying that I don't think that, well, actually we know, right? The facts show that it doesn't help much to just throw people in jail for X amount of time and then hoping they come out cured and everything is fine. I mean, that thinking is way, way, way outdated. And it seems like that still is going on to some extent. And I know that the sitting judges are aware of the, what they need to do too. So I have been bringing out the fact that if and when I'm elected, yes, I would be very much open to, within the limits, of course, that I can. I'm not prejudging or saying I'll always do this, that, or the other, but certainly being open towards, as a good researcher always is, to see how does society change as we get new facts and new information about society, and we know there's a problem. We also know it doesn't help to just continue making the same mistakes over and over and over and over that we have, that we need to just look at society and admit, okay, we made these mistakes and a lot of them affect people of color. Even in California, we're not doing that great. Well, then we need to figure out something else to do. And that might be to use, as California judges can under existing law. It seems like people don't know that, but they can. And in fact, are supposed to look at factors that make things worse, but also factors that might call for more lenient sentencing or alternative sentencing and all the things that society talks about in general. Yes, I would be very open towards, again, of course, within judicial bounds, that's, goes without saying, but to look at, what other, drug intervention, mental health, training, schooling, peer-to-peer support, even, support from the judges that have sentenced people. I've heard of some judges going to talk to the people they have sentenced and to follow up, whatever little thinking or whatever thinking outside the box we could do to help solve some of these problems. It really doesn't help. And I will say, prosecutors, we need them in society. There's a lot that are judges, and a whole bunch were elected in March. Do we need even more? Do we think that is going to solve things? That's kind of, in my opinion, a way outdated, sort of the law and order thinking, that I think it's hard. I mean, can they flip? Can they be prosecutors for years and work with police, as we know they do, and that's great, that's their jobs, but can they flip to all of a sudden start looking at entirely new solutions? Or do we need, and I think this is kind of a rhetorical question, we need people such as myself from other professional backgrounds that don't come from within the system, because they truly do, or the public defenders for that matter, but somebody from outside who could truly be the umpires and who don't feel like they owe anyone anything, or they haven't been trained, So think about it. All the district attorneys is basically one big law office, and that it is what it is, right? So they have been trained within the same organization, the same way. I know they cover over each other in different, aspects and support each other. We need someone from outside. I mean, history in fact shows that just doesn't work very well, especially for people of color. So yes, the short answer is, yeah, I'm very open to that. And I have anyone can say that, right? But if you look, I have an established record. I put my whole resume online, in contrast to the other people that just have these little websites, that, not to critique them, but I think a mystery is a lot of times that people don't know who to vote for judges. Yeah, no kidding. Because if you look at most people's websites and statements, they don't say anything about anything other than they'll be fair judges, no kidding. So I have made some statements about sort of some of my more philosophical or whatever, ideas for how we might improve society, well known, because I know that's a First Amendment free speech right. And I think voters ought to have a chance to decide whether or not you want that. If people want the more military, traditional police supported solution, then they should vote for my opponent. That's fair enough. But, I don't have all of that, the sort of law and order, police, military, support that some of them do. And so I think voters just ought to know.
Right. Yeah.
And so anyway, so my point was, I have not been just talking about this right now, this campaign. If you look, and people can download my entire resume, I have for years, for over a decade, advocated for environmental justice, which also, as we know with Trent and the Dakotas, affects First Nations and people of color and sort of the underdog, and looking at new solutions. So I think when you vote, you want someone who has proven results. Yeah. And who's not just, saying things because they feel entitled to win an election or whatever, to become judges because they kind of feel like they're in that pipeline or whatever. So I have the proven results.
Yeah. And to go back, personally, I mean, I'm no lawyer, but I would think it would be a very difficult thing to do as a prosecutor, to all of a sudden become a judge. I mean, you've been a prosecutor for 12 years, 10 years. and someone to be a prosecutor and now be a judge? Can you be open-minded, not unbiased at times? So that would be my concern. And
Mhm.
you do, looking here, that you are a law professor, uh,
Mhm.
international environmental law. So
Mhm.
you wrote many, many books, publications, or
Mhm.
articles
Mhm.
regarding climate injustice and international human rights
Mhm.
law.
Mhm.
So you do have an extensive background.
Yes, I do. Oh, yeah. I'm
Hmm.
not a spring chicken. So, yes, I was actually in international communications before I went to law school as a midlife career changer, which I know also helps tremendously. I have really good communication skills and people skills. And you need to have that as a
Yes,
judge, honestly.
yes.
It's hugely important that you can read and write, but also communicate with people from different backgrounds. I was born and raised in a poor blue collar family in Denmark, which also adds to people that come from the non-elite, non-traditional background have something else to add to the whole system and a better understanding of not only where people come from, but how to communicate and how to deal with people like that.
Hmm.
And so, yes, I have written about many, many issues. In fact, I think I published by now close to 400,000 words, which is a heck of a
Wow,
lot.
that's a lot.
Over, yeah, that is a lot. And I have thousands of citations, and not just writing, but scientific writings, right? And so, people that don't have that like to make that sort of like, oh yeah, but that's not relevant. That is wrong. That's of course they're trying to tear me down. I don't believe in that. These are my qualifications, proven qualifications, that it takes as a judge being able to read and understand the written word and deal with people and apply it, and also write opinions that other people can understand. And again, I have more than 100 citations to my writings. So as much as some people try to say, well, that's irrelevant, it's kind of funny how they make that seem like, oh, but that's not what you'd be doing. That is what judges do.
Right.
They deal with people, they read, they write, they go into the courtroom, they deal with more people, they go out, they research. That is exactly what they do. And in fact, two people, one even on the ballot designation calls himself a law professor who's not. And my opponent puts it on his website that he's a law professor. And so then it's kind of funny how they're just trying to imitate. I don't know, it's laughable to me. It's scary that people that try to run to become judges are at the same time not forthright about their own qualifications.
Yeah,
And
and
you know
that's a concern. And like I
yeah,
said earlier, we have to know, or know as much as we can about the candidates, because these are the people that we're telling to go out and represent Los Angeles County,
yeah,
represent us as the citizens of Los
yeah,
Angeles.
yeah.
So it's serious. It's serious, folks. Okay. We're
Mhm.
going to show another video, but I want to just welcome anyone who's just joined us. Welcome to Kitchen Talk. We're live with Myanna Dellinger. She is a candidate for the seat 72 for judge of the Los Angeles Superior Court. Okay. Remember that name. She has a beautiful name, Myanna Dellinger. Okay. All right. We're going to play a video. And come back. Okay.
Hi, I'm Susan Sarandon. I'm happy to be with you tonight. I'm here because I support progressive candidates who support the Green New Deal. Now, I think it's pretty easy to see that this has been a bitch of a year with rampant wildfires, historic flooding, the pandemic, people falling through the cracks left and right, rampant police brutality. I say we're in an emergency, and an emergency takes action by its citizens. The reason that I support these candidates is because they are not being paid for by corporate interests. And that's why they are free to change the system. It's that simple. So if we expect people to work for us, we have to support them. And I hope that you will. We are enough. We can make a difference. We're in an emergency situation, and it's time for us to take over. I thank you all for coming here, and I just want to
Yeah, that was a great video,
Mhm.
from her.
Mhm.
That's great. And you know what? This is very serious. Now I saw on the news they were here in LA. Certain areas are boarding up buildings, businesses,
Mhm.
because of the concern of some kind of uprising
Mm.
after this election. I've never seen this in my lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is something that everyone has to go out. Don't be intimidated to vote. It's
Mm.
your right. It's your privilege. So please go out and vote. We have our um, booklets, our sample ballots here that came out in the mail. Study them. Have group discussions. Know who you're voting for. But we have a candidate here today, Myanna Dellinger. She's
Mhm.
running for judge, the Los Angeles Superior Court for November 3rd. She's on the ballot. So, Myanna, tell us a little bit about what you think. How are things going for your chances of winning the election starting on the 3rd next week?
Um, yes, so the election ending on the 3rd, I would like to say to your viewers and listeners, go out and vote right now. You can mail it
Yes.
in, you can drop them off in ballot boxes, you can check if they made it. You can also walk in. There's places where you could walk in, there's no lines. But I would not personally, I voted already. I would not personally wait until Tuesday because there might be lines and all
Yes.
stuff going on. So just do it right now. So I think my chances are really good. I have had, let's see, combined messages and hits on my website and my social media and whatnot, more than 500,000 messages and hits combined. So 500,000. And of course, I don't know if they all vote for me, but I'm getting a lot of good support. And
That's
I'm
good.
just glad to see that people are informing themselves. I'm out right now, run out of materials or whatever. So when I have a little time and energy, I'm out waving a banner around just to meet voters and seeing if people have final questions or comments. And I'm getting a lot of hunks and people shouting, "Hey, I voted
Right.
for you and good to see you." And I think people,
Right.
and I've heard that several times, people have never seen a judicial candidate before out among people on the streets.
Yeah.
And I would go all over the place if I could, but of course I'm just me and I don't have a whole staff of people. None of the judicial candidates do, but I'm doing as much as I can. And I think that people really appreciate that I'm, like I say on my website, truly from a, humble background, poor background. I worked myself up and I'm a judge and will be of for, and I'm not a judge right now, but I will be a judge of, by, and for the people, truly. And so people, I think, resonate with that when they also see me out there. So I think people are waking up to realize that the DAs play a good role and traditional candidates play good roles in whatever they do, but that we truly do need people from different backgrounds to come in, and that I have the
We do.
skills, but also that I have the people skills. And yeah, I'm not a judge right now. That's true. None of them, again, nobody has been a judge before. We'll all be sent to judge school, though I am on a daily basis as a real law professor in a real school, in front of an audience every single day, basically, of up to 100 people, dealing with people and ordering people around, shutting them up when they need to be shut up and moving them along. And no matter how I'm tough on my students and they find me to be really difficult and demanding, though every single one of my students almost will come back years later and say that me being tough on them and demanding, and no matter what backgrounds they came from, I expected them to behave, helped them at a critical point in their lives. And that's where I know I could do well as a criminal law judge or whatever, that I can work with people and expect things of them and make them rise instead of just sort of being the harsh umpire, just sitting there not really caring about people. I really do care about people.
Yeah. Great. Okay. I like to play videos because it does talk a little bit about you and so I'm gonna play another one and we'll come back.
Okay.
All right, so we're back. I like that one. I'm gonna put it back up on the screen a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, here that you are number one in your class, respected professor, trusted by judges, Fulbright scholar, worldwide audience. Vote for
Mm-hmm.
Myanna. That's
Mm-hmm.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Great. Okay.
And you know,
So go
one of
ahead.
the things, if I may comment on it, I'm going to
Please.
not mention any names right now, but I have several friends that are current judges
Mhm.
that also say that, you know, they really want for one more female colleagues. They really need and hope for people from different backgrounds, and that in their opinions, just because you were a prosecutor and you handled trials before, far from means that you're going to be good on the other side as a judge dealing with, you know, making the decisions and calling the shots and dealing with things from different sides and being in charge of things at all, is what they're seeing in their experience. So just
Right.
that, there's nothing that shows that because you're a trial attorney or a prosecutor you will make a good judge or not at all. That's science. Just that's not facts. People of course try to tout that, but I like to stick to facts and science and research that I think matters. And so anyway, so that was just by the trusted by judges part of that as well.
Yeah, and I understand. Let's see. I think you were saying I don't remember. I don't want to say it and it's not correct about how many women judges that are out in LA County courts.
I'm sorry, you
How
froze
many?
up. I
Uh,
didn't.
how many women judges there are
More
in?
and more luckily, but still, I'm doing my PhD research on this for my dissertation. I've been fidgeting with part-time for some years. I need to finish it up, and I will. So about, by my count, about 60% or 64% of the judges are men, 64. And we need to get to at least 50-50, or as Ruth Bader Ginsburg said when they asked her when she'd be happy about how many women there were on the Supreme Court, she said when we're all, all 9 of us are females.
Yeah.
I'm not going that far, but I think we need to get to around 51, 49%, 50-50, right? And for historical reasons too. And not only females, but I also, of course, absolutely support the fact that there's not very many people of color, African Americans in particular, on the bench. We need that too badly. We need, like in my case too, more immigrants. We know most immigrants to this country come to California. There's not very many that came to, of the judges that came to this country as adults, some as toddlers or whatever, but we just need more true representation. Again, I think it's important that government in general, but certainly judges that judge other people's lives, represent what we all look like, and that is not just your typical white male prosecutor. It just isn't.
Right.
I'm sorry. I know that's hurtful for people to hear privately, but you know,
It's
they
true.
had they had a good run of it, and
That's
times
true.
are changing for good
That's
reason.
right. That's right. Well, we got a comment here. We have
Yeah.
from Ades, his quality candidate. Good luck, Mayana. Thank you,
Thank
Ades.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
And
very
thank you
much.
to all the
Yeah.
support I'm getting from, you know, the non-establishment, I think is fair to
Yes.
say. That
Yes.
I really take pride in that, because I think people are tired of all these establishment candidates.
Yeah, and
And
you've been fighting. I mean, you've been.
oh,
I've seen you out on, social media, and I've seen you
yep,
out on different interviews,
yep.
like such as Sit Kitchen Talk, and you really they give you some hard questions, and
Oh
you
yeah,
really
that's good.
knocking them out the park. I mean,
Hey,
saying it is what it is. I mean,
yep.
they don't want me to win. I'm
They
a
don't.
female. I'm an outsider.
Yep.
Um, you know, uh,
You
so
know, yeah, labeling and exclusion and inner circles and, you know, the traditional old conservative, not necessarily politically, but probably that too. Yeah, they're nervous, and I guess that's normal in politics as such, but this really, for one thing, actually isn't politics. And second of all, you would think that judicial candidates and sort of the lawyerly associations and things could hold themselves to higher standards than they do. But no, I don't even want to think about it, because of course they're not used to seeing someone like me, and I have identified some problems and some things that need to be solved. And so we know how that works when people
that's
do
right.
that, and they have the guts to not just be, you know, to say they're not going to be a rubber stamp, and they're going to call out some problems, as I will, especially in relation to race relations. That I think, white as I am, that's one of the biggest things that need to be resolved, right? And so people are like, what is she talking about? Because they would probably rather have someone who's just, you know, kind of letting things slide under the radar. But that is, you know, I will, of course, stay within bounds, and I'm not prejudging and all that, that some of them are trying to say I'm not. I'm not. It's like you can't say that racism is okay, right? I mean, that's just, you can't also
No,
say murder is okay. And so, yeah, so definitely I'm going to do whatever I can to at least help raise the dialogue. And I've heard, or, that I'm doing that. And as I think, as I said before, we need, some things are painful here in history and in society, but then we need to just recognize it and try to come together and not tear each other down.
That's
try
right.
to come together to see, okay, how can we get input from each other? And there's talks about even getting input from convicted defendants themselves, the people in prison. How could they, to hear their voices too? How the heck can we solve this problem? We know what is happening right now with the existing system is not working, right? Over the past 20 years in LA, let's see, there was about 880 incidents of police brutality, and one of those officers was prosecuted, and so somebody's protecting somebody, and that's just not right, as one of the examples.
Well, we're going to hold you accountable. I will say it right now, live on Kitchen Talk. I'm endorsing you. I've been voting for you. I have, told people about you, and we're look. Everyone's going to hold you accountable, and everybody else we vote for on this November 3rd ballot.
And you should. And
Yeah.
people should also start looking at, are people just saying and promising things, or what kind of records do they have to prove things with? Do they have a record? Again, my whole resume is online. So if voters don't like that, then that's one thing. But at least I have a proven track record. I'm not just saying a lot of these things for the first time. And so I think that's important. And if I may, you mentioned also finding out, not just for judicial races, but finding out about the candidates, I think is actually finally getting easier than ever.
It is.
Google people, you look at their websites, you look at things like votersedge.org, ballotpedia.org, a lot of different places, and you can easily get a feel for who people are instead of, just kind of guessing as it used to be, especially now that people have time.
That's right.
Research it ahead of time. And yes, you should hold people accountable. And I'm answering questions, good or bad. I delete, if it's just pure negative hate mail, or what do you call it, hate postings. I just don't have the time, and I don't believe in that. But if people have regular questions of me or whatever, of course I answer them. So I go out in a campaign, I come back and I answer, as candidates should. And somebody was like, wow, here's the candidate herself on Twitter. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And that's what, you need to look at, are people responsive? Who are they supported by? What you can get a good impression of who people are by modern media.
That's right. And everyone, thank you for joining Kitchen Talk. We're here with Myanna Dellinger as we're discussing her candidacy for Superior Court Judge in Los Angeles, number seat 72. You'll see it on your ballot. If you've already voted, great. If you have not and you're still torn, we have her here. If you have any questions to ask her today, very rarely do you have a judge or a candidate for judge right here in front of you to ask questions. This is the time to ask questions if you have any. Voting is very important, you all. This is a record-breaking event happening November 3rd. We do not want this to end. We don't know what's going to happen after November 3rd, but we want people to think about the next 4 years and think about the next time we vote. We don't want to just put our vote in now and just, say, okay, I've done my part. We all have individual parts in this voting time and in this election. So we want to start here. We have Myanna. Myanna, tell us, November 3rd, how is that process? I'm going to play a video, and I know you have things you have to do, but tell us, what is the process on November 3rd? Are you going to be at home, or are you at some convention hall, or no? Social distancing and wanting to hear the results. How is that going to play out on Tuesday?
So because we've had a month-long voting going on already, this is going to be truly, or is truly, like an election like none other.
Yes.
So last time they started announcing the results that they machine count, obviously. And they started announcing a sample, I think it was it around 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night. But then in California, because they're actually not, I believe they're not allowed to, or certainly they don't open our mail-in ballots until when all poll stations are closed. So they have, I think, around 17 days or 30 days, 17 more days they can accept mail-in. Yep.
Yes.
Mail-in ballots. And I think they have 30 days until they certify the election. So in races where it's going to be closer and all the fine counting and all that, the official results are actually not going to be out until as late as 30 days later. But certainly nationwide and here in LA County, we believe that late at night we're going to have some results. And yes, I'm going to be watching at home, and it's been busy working full time with a whole bunch of students and other
Yeah.
things going on at the same time that are nervous
can
about their
imagine.
finals too,
Yeah,
hundreds of those
yeah.
and midterms, and then doing this thing. So I'm going to be taking a nice break that
Okay.
night.
Well, I wish you the best. God bless you in this journey, and
Mhm.
we wish you the best,
Thank
and
you so much.
hopefully that you win. We'll have you come back on before you're judged, because I'm sure after that you can't be out on the public. I'm assuming.
I
Uh,
don't Yeah, there's different rules then
yeah,
that actually apply now already. But
yeah,
I suspect, and I need to, of course, then at that point in time, really again study up what are the rules and expectations then, as I have made sure I've done right now, so I don't overstep any bounds. But judges know they can give interviews, and there's examples of some that have been out jogging with people in skid row to cause attention to, little quote
yeah,
unquote things like that. But that still helped initially, I think,
yeah.
cause attention. So no, that's not true. I wonder too. So at least let me say this: I'm not going to be the type of candidate who's just going to sit and enjoy the bigger salary it'll be from me or whatever, resting on the laurels and not doing anything. I want to talk to still voters and constituents. That's the huge honor for me, that I'm not from sort of an elite upscale background. I just am truly, my dad was a bus driver and my mom was often unemployed part-time office clerk, doing whatever they could to make ends meet. And I'm still that person. I still want to talk to people like that. I'm not feeling entitled or taking this as like, oh, then I could get this and then I could just sit and enjoy the rest of my life. That's truly why I want to be a judge, is I want to contribute and hopefully bring a little bit of attention and some better solutions to some things. So hopefully I can talk to people afterwards. I plan to, as much as of course I can within the
Yeah,
rules.
yeah. Well, that's great. All right. Well, you have the floor. If you want to ask the people what you want, go ahead.
Absolutely. So I want to go out and for all of you to learn more about the judges and all the candidates in the future. Of course, in my seat, I want you to vote for the person who is of a regular upbringing, modest background, but who really stood out, I think, with smarts and book smarts, but also street smarts and kindness and honesty and integrity. So like I said, I'm really good with the law. I have the results to prove that. But I'm also just a regular person from another country, speaking other languages, and interested in helping people of all colors, and especially people of color and others from diverse backgrounds, improve their lives and help us all improve society. And judges can and should do something in that respect. So I really look forward to contributing in that role. So I wanted to go and vote for me, Myanna Dellinger, for seat 72 now, and encourage other people to do that. Don't wait until Tuesday.
That's
And
right.
find out
That's
about
right.
all other candidates. Like somebody said, if you sat down with a computer and spent an hour these days with the internet, you can find out a lot of things about a lot of people, about what they stand for and so forth. And if they don't seem to stand for anything, then is that the candidate you want? Not in my case, it isn't. I want to know what people stand for. So look people up. It's easier and easier with the internet.
Well, that's great. That's great. And you can catch her she has YouTube videos. Her website is Myanna Dellinger 4. That's FOR judge.com. You can go to her website and get all the information you have for her there. Myanna, again, we'll talk soon.
Yes,
All
we
the
will.
best to you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna play another video, and hopefully we can talk after the election.
Yes, ma'am, we will.
And thank you so much.
No, thank you for all your kind
All
support
right,
and all my other supporters out there.
thank you. All
Kindness,
right, everybody, vote
kindness
for
matters.
Myanna Dellinger. Okay, you can't miss it. It's the first one on the sheet, I believe.
And
So
and the
don't
last
have to
people
go
running
far.
them.
All right, you take
Yeah.
care. Tell
Thank you
David,
so much.
take care.
It
Thank
will
you.
do.
All
Bye,
right, all
folks.
right, all right. All right, everybody. Well, there you have it. Myanna Dellinger, candidate for judge for LA Superior Court, seat 72. Like I said, it's not often that you have candidates for judge on a live talk show and you have access to ask questions. The judge seats all across the board, down tickets are serious, you all, very serious. So we want you to be sure to vote for Myanna Dellinger. Be sure to understand your down ballots. Again, if you have not voted, they're saying that you can go now. You can have your ballot. There's drop-off boxes here in LA County that you can drop them off. You can take them to a voting, what do you call them? Station center, and you can hand them in there. Mailing is not suggested at this time. I understand that if you do mail it, it has to be postmarked by November 3rd. They are counting after, I think, after the 17th. So it's probably best to walk in. There are a lot of centers that you can vote in. So let's get the voting done, everybody. Okay, I'm going to play another video, and then we're going to talk a little bit quickly about a couple of propositions. All right, everybody. So again, Myanna Dellinger for judge for LA County seat 72. And we want to thank her for coming on the show today. And again, you all vote. We have 4 days, 14 hours, 10 minutes, and 59 seconds. It just went to 59 when I looked at my screen. 4 days, everybody. Can you believe it? 4 days to the election on November 3rd. All right, we're going to talk quickly about, I have a proposition that I would like to talk about. It's going to be Proposition 19, and it talks about it is the changes in certain property tax rules. And I'm going to play that video, and then we can talk about it on the other side.
There are two main parts to Prop 19, a tax increase and a sweetener. The tax hike is on some people who inherit property from their families, and the sweetener is a way to help seniors, the disabled, and victims of wildfires and disasters. This is the second question that goes back to that old deal from 1978. That's when California enacted Prop 13, a law to keep property taxes down. Even if your home value goes way up, your property tax is only allowed to go up 2% a year. The older you get, the sweeter this deal becomes, but it has a side effect. It keeps seniors from wanting to move, worried that they'll pay much higher taxes if they go buy a new house. To help people over 55, also disaster survivors and the disabled, the law currently allows them to take this lower tax base and move it to a new home. But you only get to use this special rule if the new home is worth less than the old one. You can only use it once in a lifetime, and only within the same county or a select group of counties that allow transfers. Prop 19 would change all that. You could move your lower tax base to a pricier home and only pay the difference. You could move this way up to 3 times, and you could move to a new home anywhere in the state without losing your lower tax base. That's the sweetener. Now the tax hike, which is all about inheritance. When you die, if you leave your property to your kids and grandkids, they get to keep your lower tax base. If you inherit the house, this is a sweetheart deal. You get to pay taxes based on the last generation's property value. Prop 19 would raise property taxes by ending that inherited tax break in many cases. It's aimed at wealthy families who own big properties. Prop 19 still allows this tax break if you inherit your parents' house and decide to live in it. It also exempts farms. But if your mom or dad left you a bunch of rental properties or a strip mall, your property taxes on those would go up under Prop 19. Over time, the analysts figure Prop 19 would increase property taxes by a few $100 million per year. Most of those new taxes would be dedicated to fire protection, but some would also go to local governments. A yes vote allows more flexible moves and increases the tax on inherited properties. A no vote keeps the law the way it is.
All right, that was Proposition 19. So, that video gave you a lot of information. So, hopefully, that explains it. Also, our sponsor today is going to be Bell Home Care Incorporated, California home care provider assistance with activities of daily living. With our gentle touch, we will care for you with all our hearts. Bell Home Care is located in Pasadena, California. You can reach them at 626-541-6851. And also, we have Impressive Properties. It is a real estate company. I am the broker and been in business for 24 years. We handle residential and commercial real estate. And also am a realtor in Las Vegas, Nevada, the new home of the Las Vegas Raiders. If you're looking for a new home or resale home, if you're 55 and older and you're needing to relocate anywhere in the world, United States, we can assist you. You can reach us at 702-302-4141. And I just want to thank Myanna again. Myanna Dellinger for Judge LA County Seat 72, you guys. Vote for her, a judge of, for, and by the people. She's diverse, balanced, and experienced. Want to thank everybody for watching Kitchen Talk today. We want to make sure that you're safe. Please wear your mask, social distance yourselves, and stay safe and vote, everybody. See you next week.